just have enormous respect for each other.
What gladiator has that big striped spear at the neck?
Look, the judges are nodding. Even the Egyptian judge is impressed.
Until recently, you claimed that the Earth revolved around the sun.
Welcome to History Bites. I'm Rick Green. Over the years, a number of televangelists, Pat Robertson, Jerry Falwell, have all run for public office in the United States. They didn't win, but an evangelical preacher in a position of political power? Well, that's pretty much what did happen in 15th century Florence. The preacher's name was Girolamo Savonarola, and his sermons were so stirring, he ended up running the city. By 1498, Savonarola was in trouble. Excommunicated from the church, his followers were losing faith. They wanted proof his apocalyptic prophecies were true, and therefore his excommunication was wrong. They decided to use the medieval lie detector, a trial by ordeal. If a man could walk through fire and not turn into a crispy critter, then, hey, he had to be telling the truth. This showdown had danger, spectacle, and hype. The only thing missing was television.
Tonight on Monday Night Fireball, a couple of old rivalries heat up once again. It's upstart challenger Savonarola versus His Holiness the Pope. It's the Franciscans versus the Dominicans. It's Trial by Ordeal 98, the Friars in the Fires. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Antonio Rotini here with the preacher-turned-colored man Giovanni Malagiusti, and of course the newest member of Monday Night Fireball team, Deniso Milleri. How's it feel to be here in the booth, Deniso?
Well, it's a little scary.
Try not to think about the cameras.
No, I meant the fact that we're this close to a blazing inferno inside a wooden room.
Well, as if the Lord would ever allow spectators to die at a sporting event, huh?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, but seriously, Giovanni, a lot on the line here in today's contest.
Well, you got that right, Antonio. First of all, you've got the Dominican Friars of San Marco, led by the much-maligned Girolamo Savonarola. He's bad-mouthing the church, he's bad-mouthing the Pope, and now he may be about to get his mouth washed with fire.
Oh, ouch, I just hate that, huh? Yeah, that fire taste stays with you for days.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a make-or-break contest today with Brother Savonarola. For more, let's go down live to Pyre Level, where Leslie Vici is standing by with the preacher himself.
Savonarola, in the time that your party's been in power in Florence, you have said the church needed to be reformed. You predicted a scourge in Italy, and you supported King Charles of France over the Pope. Now you have a chance to prove the validity of your message by passing that trial by fire, walking through that raging bonfire. What do you think your chances are out there today?
Well, it's do or die today, Leslie, but we're going to stick to the game plan. We're going to take it one flame at a time and give it 110 degrees. And if the Lord is on our side today, preferably we can go out there and make something happen today. Hopefully a miracle.
Now, when you say we...
Oh, that would be me and Brother Domenico here. He's a loyal follower. He really wanted to be a part of this. So I said, okay, why don't you be the one who walks through the fire? But I'll still be the coach, you know, providing the guidance and the holy message that will keep him safe. Well, never underestimate the importance of a good coach.
Right. Back to you, Antonio.
Tonight on Movies for Guys Who Like Movies, Steve McQueen in The Great Escape.
Okay, let's have a look at our lineups in our Trial by Ordeal 98 Stats Pack. And what do you make of the numbers, Dennis?
Oh, sorry, I really wasn't paying attention there. I was just too busy trying to imagine these firewalkers going from game face to char face.
Well, the Franciscans are led by Friar Francesco de Puglia. Brother Francesco has repeatedly denounced Savonarola, calling him a heretic and a schismatic before issuing the Trial by Fire challenge.
Strong words from the Franciscans.
Indeed. But being the type of competitor he is, Francesco was willing to back up those words by sending Brother Giuliano Rondinelli to enter the fire in his place.
Now, a lot of people are saying that this is not a good matchup for the Franciscans. Rondinelli versus a raging inferno.
Rumor is he's scared, and you know the old saying, if you can't stand the heat, you're probably standing in a fire.
You know, from the looks of his picture there, he may be able to retard the flames by wetting his pants.
Two champions who have come out of nowhere to meet the Trial by Fire Challenge. Is this a Cinderella story or just the cinders? Find out when we return with Trial by Ordeal 98, Friars in the Fires.
Even at the height of his power and popularity, Savonarola had enemies in Florence, the Arrabbiati and the Compagnacci. Now, the Arrabbiati were a political party striving to impeach Savonarola. The Compagnacci were more of a party. They were a street gang, albeit a rich one, financed by their wealthy merchant fathers. Now, they weren't governed by political protocol, so rather than debate their points, they just hurled insults and dead animals.
No, not because I say so, because the Pope says so. The Pope's the one who excommunicated him.
Pope Alexander? You're going to listen to a man who's sleeping with his own daughter?
Hey, these rumors about the Pope are completely unsubstantiated. Besides, have you seen his daughter?
Oh. That Lucretia Borgia is a major hottie.
I agree.
Excuse me? Yeah.
Oh, look, you guys are never going to be objective about Savonarola. The Arrabbiati and the Compagnacci exist for one purpose only, to ruin Savonarola, regardless of what type of hooliganism is involved.
Come on, we're a political organization. When have we ever been engaged in acts of hooliganism?
How about when you coated the pulpit of Savonarola's church with the putrefied remains of a donkey carcass?
That was good, clean fun. And nobody was hurt.
Well, except the donkey.
Yeah. About the last bonfire of the Vanities was disrupted by the Compagnacci in a premeditated act of civil disruption.
Premeditated? We just got a little upset at what we were seeing, at the wastefulness of it all, and so we just started throwing whatever we had with us at the crowd.
And you just happened to have a bunch of dead cats and chickens?
What's so hard to believe about that?
Good one.
Oh, you people have regular...
I am a member of the Weepers, and our party will support Savonarola till the end. He taught us so much. Like, not to apologize for showing our true emotions. I'm sorry. Please.
I'm a member of the Compagnacci, so obviously I'm rooting for the Franciscans. Eh?
Go Frisky!
Yeah, Frisky! Yeah, but, you know, something like this is just an excuse to get out with the boys, have a few brewskis, and, you know, hurl a few dead animals at them weepers.
Hey, I'm not a Savonarola fan or a Pope Alexander fan. I'm a fan of the sport. As long as it's a good, clean match and somebody ends up on fire, I'll be happy. Go Flames, go! Go Flames!
How'd the audition go?
Terrible. Not a chuckle. Elaine, the world is changing.
Not fast enough for me. This whole humanist thing is really starting to get to me. Every guy I go out with lately is trying to better himself. They're so nice and human. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned animalism?
Look at this. You can't even find a good peacock sandwich anymore.
You're just mad because you can't find any work. Maybe you should take a good look in the mirror.
Well, I guess you're right. No noble's gonna hire a guy who looks like me.
Oh, come on. You're not that ugly, Jerry.
That's the problem. Audiences want ugly. If I was deformed or a dwarf, I'd get booked into the big places just like that.
You are a little funny looking.
Well, thanks for saying that, but I haven't got what it takes to be a buffoon.
Are they all that weird looking?
All the biggies. Morgantino, the dancing dwarf, Gonella of Florence. Nobody laughs at a regular guy anymore.
Okay. Well, let's check in with Leslie Vici down in the Dominican Investment Room. Leslie.
Thanks, Antonio. I'm here with Brother Domenico de Pescia. Domenico, you must be getting nervous this close to ordeal time.
Well, there are always a few butterflies before a big match, but I think they'll melt away once we get into it.
So you're confident?
Oh, absolutely, yes. What this ordeal is all about is who's telling the truth, and I feel that if we're right, then I have nothing to fear.
So you believe all of the prophecies made by Savonarola are true?
Leslie, was Savonarola telling the truth when he prophesied that a disaster would occur and that very same evening the cupola of the Santa Maria di Fiore was struck by lightning? I mean, what else could it be?
Coincidence?
Well, was it a coincidence that he predicted that all evildoers would be punished, and then a couple of years later the illegitimate son of the Pope died?
I'm not sure that even qualifies as a coincidence.
Or the prophecy that the entire land would be scourged, and then the appearance of King Charles' forces in Italy?
Well, yeah, but his French armies haven't even done any scourging.
No, not yet, but you know, Italy's a very large country and it takes a very long time to scourge. Besides, you know, Leslie, in the prophecy game, there really is no timetable, much less in the scourging game. You know, I have never known Brother Savonarola to speak anything but the truth of God, so I feel we're going to be fine, you know. I'm ready to face those tongues of flame and take a licking.
There you have it. Back to you, Antonio.
When we come back, the fire of righteous truth really heats up. Back in 1498 in Florence, the charismatic Dominican friar Savonarola was in trouble for a number of reasons. He'd condemned the church, he'd predicted the apocalypse was at hand, he'd driven out the ruling Medici family, and he had refused to sign up Florence with the Holy League. This was a group of Italian city-states who were united by their hatred for the French. Savonarola had hoped that the French leader, King Charles, would attack these other Italian cities and force the Holy League to go the way of the WHA. Then maybe a new league could be formed, with Savonarola as commissioner.
Rituals and a prayer by their altars. They appear to be getting some final words of advice from their coaches.
You know, actually, I think he's trying to get a last-minute quote on insurance rates.
Certainly Brother Domenico appearing as the more calm of the two. And since the Dominicans won the Florentines, Brother Giuliano will be required to enter the fire first. They're at the starting post, and Francesco's approaching the scorer's desk. He's upset about something. It's Domenico's outer garment. Francesco's claiming it's bewitched. What do you make of that, Giovanni?
Well, anything's possible, but at this level, it's very unlikely you'd see Domenico make a rookie mistake like that.
Not with all the random testing for witchcraft.
Why do the Arrabbiati and the Compagnacci have such animosity towards the friar?
Okay, well, just look at us compared to the rest of the country. Look at us compared to the way we were 5 years ago under Lorenzo de' Medici.
Yeah.
I mean, the rest of the country is growing artistically and culturally. They're experiencing almost a renaissance.
A renaissance, you call it. A bunch of nude paintings everywhere you look.
I like those.
Disgusting. Thank God we still have the decency to burn smut like that.
Oh, but it's art.
That doesn't mean it isn't porn.
Well, forget the paintings. Savonarola's band's poetry.
Yeah.
Poetry, people.
Yeah, that's right.
Not to mention prostitutes, gambling, drinking, and sodomy. I mean, you add in eating and sleeping, that's my whole day.
Oh, you don't find something wrong with that? You're a sick man.
What can I do? I like poetry.
98, the Friars and the Fires is going to be delayed a bit longer.
That's right, and this delay is brought to you by Mr. Oak's Tree Bark. When you're out of bread and you can't afford food, let Mr. Oak's Tree Bark fill that aching, burning void in your stomach. Let's check in with the coach now and his keys to the ordeal.
Folks, you've got to know that any bout sanctioned by the Pope is going to be state of the art, and this one is no exception. Let me diagram this one out for you. See, this pyre is going to feature a platform that's 90 feet long with a walkway that's only 2 feet wide. That's why balance is going to be an important factor. Now, the base of this platform is going to be solid, made of unbaked bricks. That's to keep the heat out of the crowd. Next, you got your heavy lumber. On top of that, your brushwood. And to top it all off, a healthy dose of oil, resin, and gunpowder. Woo-hoo-hoo-wee! That's gonna be one H-O-double-T hot fire. I tell you guys that if any one of these combatants is going to hell for heresy after the fight, they'll have a good idea what it's like before they get there.
Well, what about home fire advantage?
Well, a year ago, I'd given the advantage to Savonarola, but now with the Arrabbiati as strong as they are and the faithful starting to waver, I think he may be in big trouble here today. This could work against him. If Savonarola's got any miracles up his sleeve, he'd be best to pull them out early to take the crowd out of this contest.
You know, people, I think you're missing the point here. Savonarola doesn't make up the rules. Jesus does. He's simply passing his wishes on to the friar in his dreams.
Has it ever occurred to you that these aren't divine dreams at all? Maybe Savonarola is just nuts?
When Francesco de Puglia challenged Girolamo Savonarola to this trial by fire, he figured the friar wouldn't go through with it. But he hadn't counted on the dim-witted and fiercely loyal Domenico to step up to the plate. Now, scary as a trial by ordeal would be, Savonarola's enemies couldn't pass up this chance to discredit him once and for all. So they found their own patsy, Rondinelli, to pinch hit for them. Don't worry, they told him, we'd never let you get hurt. Still, when the hour was at hand, poor Rondinelli had to be getting a little hot under the collar.
All right, Domenico has returned with a new garment.
About time.
Oh, my, the Franciscans are pointing to the crucifix.
It looks like they're asking for a stick measurement.
Oh, gosh, I haven't seen anything this slow since the 100-Year War.
Apparently, they're suggesting the crucifix is enchanted.
This is ridiculous. Clearly, they are just trying to slow down the pace to get the Dominicans out of their rhythm. The officials have got to step in and call a delay of flame penalty.
And speaking of fire, nothing burns hotter or longer than Lardino's heavy-duty tallow candles. Proud sponsor of the Trial by Ordeal 98, the Friars and the Fires.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna take what's in the basket.
Okay, Agnes. Okay, you've won yourself something even more filling than eggs. It's a prize you can sink your teeth into. You've won your very own pig.
Our pig was stolen. My husband said we would have no means this winter. Thank you.
That's not all, though. Johnny!
That's right, Bob. Agnes, you're not just bringing home the bacon, you're bringing home the blood as well. You get the carcass and the blood. It's...
Savonarola still voicing his opinion to the officials.
Well, he's certainly not afraid to speak his mind, as I found out firsthand earlier when I had a chance to speak to the troubled Dominican preacher about Trial by Ordeal 98. Now, how did it come to this? It doesn't seem so long ago that you were the King of Florence.
Oh, now hold on a second. I was never the King of Florence. Florence came under the sovereign rule of someone by the name of Jesus Christ. I just happened to be the only one who could relay the king's orders to the people.
Now let's talk about your policies. You instituted a lot of new laws along with some pretty harsh penalties, particularly those dealing with vice and frivolity.
Oh yes, we had to get tough with them.
So you publicly burned everything that the church deemed too frivolous?
Yes, that was the Bonfires of the Vanities. I came up with the name.
Well, that's a catchy one. You burned sexy clothes, jewelry, nude paintings, even books. Why didn't you want people reading those books?
Because, Antonio, those books were on fire.
Coming up, smoke gets in your eyes when flames come out your toes. When the visionary prophet Savonarola came to power in 15th century Florence, most folks were mesmerized by this man they called the Black Friar. Eventually, some began to waver in their loyalty, not because of his excommunication by the Pope or the interdict against their city, but because of the trade embargo that went along with it. The Pope was playing hardball with this breakaway preacher. When it came down to a choice between good sermons or good food, folks began to see their visionary in a different light.
Say, Leslie, what's going on down there?
It seems the Franciscans are disputing Domenico's claim that he can carry the host into the fire with him. They say it would roast the host, rendering it toast. Vinny would be disturbed by this, probably the Holy Ghost the most.
Thank you, Leslie. Well, it appears Savonarola, who has given in on every other objection, is not budging on this one. Hopefully they can figure out some compromise to get this match going. Oh, boy, would you look at that, as if things weren't slowed down enough.
This has got to be a disappointment to all these fans who've been waiting all day for some action.
You know, on the bright side, maybe the rain will keep some of them awake.
This is absolutely unbelievable. Weren't the skies perfectly clear just a few minutes ago?
Yeah, you know, you'd almost think it was a message from the man upstairs.
And the skies are rocked again by a thunderous message from above.
Many people in the crowd getting frightened, fearing this is a display of God's wrath.
No, Giovanni. I believe what we're seeing here is a demonstration of Savonarola's legendary supernatural powers.
And look at that! The Franciscans have obviously seen enough. They're walking away.
Okay, it's all over. It's all over. Savonarola wins.
Marjoram, laurel, lavender. You see them everywhere when plague hits your town. But I got news for you. These sweet-smelling herbs are like candy to the plague. Oh, they might cover it up, but at the end of the day, you and your family are still dead. Plague is evil. If you want to beat it, you've got to have something just as evil. New extra-strength stench. Research shows that only the strongest smelling odors can chase away plague. Stench is pure human waste. And not just any waste, but the foulest variety the plague will ever run into. So forget the candies. Get tough with plague. Get new extra strength stench.
What is going on down there, Leslie?
It's pretty crazy here, Antonio. As you know, the Franciscans refused to go through with the ordeal, making Savonarola and his Dominicans technically the winners. But nobody wanted this kind of victory. Fans from both sides are saying the Friars should have walked through the fire anyway.
I go to a lot of sporting events and I go to church every week, and as long as the players give 100%, you know, I don't expect any miracle. Unless, like, they're advertising that there's going to be a miracle. And so I just think today stunk, and I've seen bigger miracles at the Quickie Mart.
I cashed in a lot of favors for these seats, you know, second row altars. I didn't wait 6 hours in the freezing rain to watch this. I came for spiritual enlightenment and to hear the death screams of a man being burned alive.
There you have it, Antonio. Intense frustration from among the spectators here. Almost all of them turning against Savonarola. And with members of the Arrabbiati and Campagnacci here, two very strongly anti-Savonarola parties, this could get ugly.
Are people expecting violence?
Unfortunately, yes. Many members of Savonarola's supporters have gone into hiding, fearing for their lives, and after seeing what the Campagnacci did after the last bonfire of the Vanities, I think we should be prepared for anything.
Leslie.
Leslie?
Leslie?
So Savonarola had technically won the trial by fire, by default. But that was hardly the end of it. Eventually, people used another reliable lie detector to determine if he was telling the truth: torture. Savonarola, who wanted nothing more than to die a martyr's death, held out bravely against his inquisitors for a few hours, and then he blurted out anything they wanted him to say. After being tried for heresy, he and Domenico earned a second trip to the burning stake. And this time it took. After the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat, Savonarola learned the valuable lesson that history bites.
All right, let's see what's in the news. The Shaughnessy kids were always on their best behavior whenever Brittany babysat them. Hey, mister, have you seen Jumbo? Princess Amelia couldn't figure out how the king came up with the idea of demanding her head on a platter. Whenever the Hanson brothers got involved in a dressage contest, things got way, way out of hand. Her litter bearers had to constantly remind Lady Marino not to flush when the train was stopped in the station. Who loves you, baby?